On a warm August day in 1990, a group of 17 persons gathered at Howard University's Blackburn Center in Washington, D.C. for our very first service. Our pastors had received a word, be a missionary and not a refugee. And on the basis of that word, and with hearts full of faith, they set out to plant a church as missionaries in Washington, D.C. As they stood there, they might have envisioned the possibility of being a world outreach ministry. But few would have imagined that today we would be well over 2,000 members from over 50 nations, 350 churches in 6 continents of the world, over 62 elementary and high schools, 5 theological training institutions, 1 medical clinic, 1 orphanage, and 2 radio stations. After spending about 2 years not really having a permanent home, in 1992, by God's favor, we were able to move into what was at the time the Roth Theater. And although we were less than 100 in what could seat 450 people, in a short amount of time, we witnessed an explosion in our growth. We were able to also purchase the bank building next door. And by 1997, we owned 3 buildings on Georgia Avenue. At that campus, we were able to grow and eventually opened up a North Campus to absorb the congregation based in northern Montgomery County. Through our ministry, thousands of people from all walks of life have found freedom in Christ, discovered their passions and God-given abilities, and entered deeply into living fruitful lives, serving God and others. In 2004, we were miraculously able to raise funds to purchase 120 acres of land in Montgomery County, Maryland. However, as we got ready to build, we were informed by the county's officials that we were not going to be able to construct a sanctuary on the premises. This resulted in a 7-year battle with Montgomery County that ultimately resulted in a settlement awarded in our favor for $1.2 million in 2013. In 2012, Bishop sensed the Lord speaking to him about uniting our 2 campuses. Bishop heard the Lord saying, bigger, better, and less expensive. As a result, we took a step of faith and put our campus on Georgia Avenue on sale. We had a favorable offer and sold our Silver Spring properties in November 2012. Since the buyer needed about 2 years to obtain permits, we were allowed to stay at the property for another 2 years, and during this time, we began to look for a property and new home for our church. We took a step of faith and sold before we knew where we were going. What we did not know was that at that time, sometime in 2012, the Washington Christian Academy, located in Olney, Maryland, had entered into financial distress. This was a campus that at that time appraised for about $22 million. And in the summer of 2013, it was put on sale for $15 million. It was a long and drawn-out journey of faith because others wanted the property also. But because of our God's grace and favor, the price dropped from $15 million to $8.8 million. We were blessed to purchase for only $8.8 million and closed on January 10th, 2014. We moved into the property and had our first service in March 2015, after retrofitting the gymnasium for use as our sanctuary. In 2020, the Lord moved us into a new season, strengthening our resolve to focus on our mission of winning souls into the kingdom and to make more disciples in our generation. Like Abraham, Sarah, and Jacob, whose names were changed to mark a new and prophetic season in alignment with the destiny God had for them, He changed our name to Harvest Intercontinental Church Unlimited. Truly, we can say that over the last 30 years, God's grace and favor has met us every time we stepped out in faith and obedience to His leading. God has shown us He is a master chess player and that He holds our times and seasons in His hands. Today, from our small beginnings that summer day in August 1990, where 17 people gathered at Blackburn Auditorium in Howard University, to well over 2,000 people at Olney and thousands all over the world, we indeed have enjoyed God's grace and favor as we have taken steps of faith in obedience to Him. Now, as harvesters, we're ready to move as we step into a new dimension of our maturity as a ministry. Let us all give God exuberant praise for all He has done to bring us here.